Hi everyone! Welcome to another Craftcore sewing machine showcase. This is the Viking model 788P sewing machine. Before we jump into the threading demonstration, I'm going to give you a little backstory about this machine. You can jump ahead to this timestamp if you just want to get to the meat of the video. I picked up this machine with the assumption that it was somehow related to the Husqvarna Viking brand of sewing machines, but no. These two Viking brands are actually totally unrelated. After doing some research, I found out Viking was the store brand of the Canadian department store chain Eaton's, which went bankrupt back in 1999. I have fond memories shopping there with my mom, especially at Christmas time as a kid. Anyway, Eaton's did not actually manufacture the items in their Viking line of products, which ranged all the way from major appliances to audio equipment to sewing machines. I found some discussion posts online that stated that Viking sewing machines were often rebadged Raccar, New Home, or Janome brand Japanese machines. I tried to search for machines during this era for those three brands, but I couldn't find out which machine that this one was based on. It's funny because this particular Viking model actually reminds me of one of the machines I previously owned, the white 642. I'll include a link to that if you want to check it out. I read on the Canadian Encyclopedia that the White company manufactured most of the Viking appliances for Eaton's. After reading that, I was really thinking that the 788P model was actually manufactured by White. But of course, I could not find an exact match for that model either. It's such a mysterious machine. This machine is most likely from the 1960s or 1970s. If you have any ideas about what brand or model of sewing machine this could be a rebadge of, let me know in the comments. Thank you very much. Now, let's dive into the demonstration. I couldn't find a manual for this machine, so I'm just going to show you what worked for me. First, I'll show you how I wind the bobbin, and then I'll show you how to thread the machine. Also, I want to apologize for how dirty this machine is. I brought this home and I was apparently more interested in learning about the history of the machine than cleaning it right away. So this machine definitely needs some love. Don't mind the dust bunnies. Let's wind the bobbin. We'll need to disengage the hand wheel first so that the needle bar doesn't go up and down. Hold the hand wheel in place and turn the metal knob towards you. This bobbin here is the one that came with the machine, but it seems to be very similar to these Class 15 bobbins. I had no issue using the Class 15s in this machine. Here are the measurements for both types for your reference. The Class 15s seem a little bit taller, but they still fit in the bobbin case just fine. Place a spool of thread on the leftmost spool pin and lead the thread down through the round metal tension discs right here. Bring the thread back toward the bobbin winder. I like to wrap the thread around the bobbin clockwise twice, then lead the thread out through one of the holes. Place the bobbin onto the bobbin winder, lining up the little groove with the shaped metal. In front of the bobbin winder peg, there's a lever that looks like a letter C from above. Slide the lever toward the peg to turn the machine into bobbin winding mode. Be careful not to slide it too close to the peg, otherwise it will barely allow for you to fill the bobbin before the thread goes wild and jumps all below the bobbin to wind the thread around the peg. It's a mess. Then you're left with a mess like this one to remove. Ugh. So this is the distance that I recommend placing the lever. You want it so that it won't completely fill the bobbin. Press the foot pedal to start winding the bobbin. When you're winding, watch it carefully so you don't overfill it. This machine doesn't seem to automatically stop when it reaches the lever. Once the bobbin is filled, you'll need to put it into the bobbin case. You can find the bobbin case inside the threading machine in the bobbin area. Hopefully, as long as no one's lost it. Place your bobbin into the bobbin case, thread leading counterclockwise, and lead the thread down through the side of the bobbin. Guide it through until the thread comes out. Flip open the bobbin area and insert the bobbin case with the finger of the case lined up with the groove, and press until it clicks into place. Flip close the bobbin area. Now that the bobbin thread is taken care of, it's time to thread the machine. Don't forget to move the bobbin winder lever back towards the front and re-engage your hand wheel by holding the hand wheel in place and turning the metal knob back away from you. Now it's back in sewing mode. Make sure that the take-up lever is in the topmost position. Place the thread on one of the spool pins. Lead the thread over to the back metal thread guide, then down the front metal guide. You'll notice that there are 2 sets of tension discs. Guide the thread down between one of the sets, from right to left, then bring the thread up until you reach the tension spring. Catch the thread behind the spring, then lead the thread under and through the hole in the bottom metal guide. Lead the thread up to the take-up lever and thread it from right to left. Then, lead the thread back down and behind the metal guide you see in the gap at the front of the sewing machine. Lead the thread behind the next metal guide on the needle bar, and finally thread the needle from front to back. Hold the top thread and turn the hand wheel towards you until a loop of the bobbin thread pops out. Pull both threads toward the back and you're ready to start sewing. Place a test fabric under the needle area and use the presser bar lifter to lower the presser foot into place. Before you start sewing, you'll want to actually decide what stitch you want to use by using the leftmost dial. You can adjust the width of any of the stitches using the top right dial, and you can adjust the length of the stitch using the bottom right dial. To do a straight stitch, you'll have to change your stitch to a zigzag and change the width to 0. Press the foot pedal to start sewing. If the stitches seem too tight or too loose, you may need to adjust the tension knob to either a lower or higher number. If you need to reverse stitch, press and hold the button in the middle of the length adjustment knob while you use the pedal to power the machine. If you find that the fabric is not moving under the needle, double check that the feed dog dial is set to up. Some noteworthy features of the 788P. It has the up and down option for the feed dog, so you can do free motion quilting on this machine when it's in the down position. It has twin needle support, it has 2 spool pins, 2 sets of tension discs. It has a bunch of zigzag stitches and other specialty stitches. There is a button holder option if you had the button holder foot attachment. Because I don't have the manual, I'm not really sure how that works, but it's there. And the fancy blue light panel. It has no actual purpose, but how cool does that look? One thing that I'm not a big fan of is that when you use this machine in straight stitch mode, which is just zigzag with a stitch width of 0, the needle position is not actually in the center of the foot. That means when you're using a special foot like the 1/4 inch seam foot, the distance from the needle is not actually accurate. For me, that's a deal breaker, so I probably wouldn't actually use this machine much since quilting is my primary objective. So I think that about covers it for the basic setup of the Eaton's Viking 788P sewing machine. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up to help support the Craftcore channel. Please subscribe to this channel for more vintage sewing machine tutorials, among other crafty content. Thanks for watching. This is Craftcore signing off. See you next time.